Hello and welcome back to the Ottr podcast. It's Joss here. In this episode, you can expect all kinds of random chatter. We get quite deep. We talk about Stoicism, the economy, all sorts of waffle. Ben is shouting at me as I'm doing this intro. But yeah, it's a really good episode. We talk about all sorts of different waffle. If you want to see what Ottr is really like, this is a perfect podcast for it. So sit back, relax, enjoy it. If you want to check out the video version, you can go to the YouTube channel and watch it there. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. Cheers.
Stella, get on the chair.
Get on the mic, Sales.
She's fucking doing what she
She's
wants.
I've no idea why she's so hyped up. It's not like we're just fucking attacking her for 10 minutes.
No. I've literally just taken her out for a little wee break as well. She's just going for it.
That must be nice, having a wee break.
Oh.
I ran out of wee tokens today, so I can't wee.
Are you weeing a lot recently?
No.
Do you find that energy drinks make you wee more?
No.
I've heard that.
I feel like energy
can make you
drinks
do
just
that.
dehydrate you, don't they?
Don't know.
You
Do
just
they?
evaporate the water in your body.
The caffeine. Does
Yeah.
it withdraw all hydration from within us?
Is it L-carnitine or taurine, whatever they have in it?
Taurine.
It's taurine. Tauri.
Isn't taurine whale semen?
Bull sperm, I heard.
I heard it was
Bull
bull
sperm.
sperm, but is
Yeah.
that a mother's myth?
I don't know.
Not too sure.
It's some sort of semen though, isn't it?
Oh no, it's taurine, caffeine, and L-carnitine.
All
Nope.
of the great
Okay.
stuff.
No wonder this thing makes you absolutely wired.
What's the most wired you've been, do you think? On
Pre-workout.
On illicit,
On an energy
non-illicit substances.
Oh,
I once, it was like, just as we turned 16, me and some mates, we bought some Red Bulls. And when I say some, I mean 8 each.
What?
8 each.
Yeah, and we necked 8 each. And
No, you didn't.
I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
I'm joking.
I'm joking. No, literally, we bought a 3-pack of the original flavour and a 4-pack of the original flavour and a 4-pack of the tropical flavour each, and we just sat and necked them all. And I did not sleep that night.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you feel
I'm not even
awful?
joking. Yeah, mate. I felt
I
absolutely
bet
terrible.
the come down off that would be horrific.
It was not nice.
I did not expect Joss Henderson to have that in the can.
Well, yeah, and I wasn't really a fan of energy drinks again until like 6 months ago when we started getting Monster in the office.
Did you hit any sort of peak, or was it just instant downhill? What happened?
From what I can remember, I mean, we were all just like out playing basketball or whatever anyway, so we were all just having a laugh, and then we just did that, and then we were all just like a little bit buzzing. But it was already like, half an hour before everyone went home. So it was kind of the worst possible time to do it. It was
Like 5:30 or something?
no, it was more like 7 or 8 in the evening.
Jesus Christ.
And then, yeah.
Did you have the shakes?
Probably. I can't really remember it too well, but I would imagine so, yeah.
I remember Hannah once had, she went to Costa and she got like a large or an extra, like, I think even like a large latte at Costa is massive.
Mm.
But if you sit in, it maybe be the extra large, but you get the extra large and it comes in a mug with 2 handles.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've had
It's
that
like
one.
a
The
bowl.
mug
It's like a
is
bowl of
literally-
soup, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's got 2 handles that you must hold it with because it's so big. Like coffee cups and mugs and stuff are just so stupidly made. You know,
Yeah.
even at Darkroom, our favourite coffee shop,
Yeah.
those are all like flat white cups there.
Yeah.
I can't put my finger through the hole.
No.
Yeah, you've got to grab the whole thing
It's,
around the edge.
it's why I always order takeout cups to eat in, drink in. It's
Really?
just so much nicer to drink from.
Flavour though. I definitely do taste the flavour of the cardboard sometimes.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah.
I just hate drinking from a mug. Like anytime I see someone in Costa like drinking out of a mug, I'm like, why? Why would you not just get it to go?
Really?
Yeah.
You're not like a sitting in fan?
Nah.
Wow.
I got things to do, people to see, man.
Do you ever go to like a cheap festival or like that sounds like a bit of shit, but I've been to horse events, for example, where like they've got budget coffee there because it's just coming out the back of a rubbish van
Yeah.
and it's in a polystyrene cup.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
worst.
How
That
bad
is
are
the
they?
worst.
That's absolutely
You're looking at me
vile.
like you've had that or you haven't had that.
I completely forgot those existed just now.
Do you remember how bad they are?
Yeah, and I remember you could like so easily just crumble the top lip of the cup into the coffee,
Yeah.
or sometimes the pot noodle. I used to get noodles and shit and that sort of stuff as well,
In
didn't
a
you?
polystyrene cup.
What were people thinking back then?
You drink it, then you could eat it afterwards because they're a little
Ah.
bit like prawn crackers.
Oh,
God.
mate, stop
Like
it.
instant coffee in a polystyrene cup.
Prawn
Just,
crackers.
like, the worst start to your day.
Yeah.
That was like the classic summer fare for parents, isn't it? Have a cup of tea in a polystyrene cup and a bacon bat, please.
Or for us, it would be juice or squash. They would have a jug of squash ready to go, loaded, fully loaded.
Do you remember doing sports day in like year 5? And you get to the end of like the sports or whatever, and there'd be like infinite squash, and
Yeah.
literally kids would run up to it, they wouldn't breathe for 30 seconds while they're literally downing like 4 litres of squash, and they just go. I swear every kid down squash the exact same.
Have you done that as an adult?
What, down squash? Or wipe
like
my
on
forehead?
No, like on a hot summer's day, next to a glass of squash.
Yeah.
It unlocks some weird nostalgia, but it's amazing.
Ice cold squash, mate, is a goat drink.
Yeah.
There's something a bit weird about squash, I think. I don't know. I kind of left it in the past, and I'm not really willing to revisit it.
What do you drink at home?
Just water, but we don't have many other drinks apart from tap water in the house. Like every now and then I'll get like 4 ginger beers or whatever, but once they've gone, I've just got tap water and that's about it. But squash for me is really weird. I think it's a bit.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like I'm a child drinking it. I feel it's because I've only ever had it as a kid, and I feel like now when I drink it as a kid's drink,
No, mate.
I'm like orange
depends which
juice.
one you
Orange
get.
squash is a bit like
Squash is
childish.
Squash is a fantastic way of getting water in your body.
Summer fruit squash.
Yeah, mate. Summer
That's
fruits.
the one.
Goated.
Yeah.
Robinsons.
Yeah.
Anything,
Ashley Robinson's.
anything else? When we moved, we bought the Aldi own squash,
Mhm.
and I was drinking it. I was like, this is not it. This is not the same
Do you
at
reckon
all.
other countries have squash?
Yes,
Yeah.
mate.
You do think that?
In France, when I fucking used to date that French girl, the whole family used to get mint squash.
Yeah,
right?
I
It's really
remember
pop-
when we went to France, we had
It's
that.
popular over there, and it literally tastes like mouthwash. And
Wow.
they drink that with a meal.
That's weird.
In-
It's
Squash.
yeah, mate. Honestly, it's like putting mouthwash in your mouth, and I think, oh yeah, this is really great with my burger.
Wow. There was a time that we went to Austria, and I had because even in like Central Europe and stuff, they have really weird breakfasts because they have like baguettes and ham for breakfast, which is really trippy. But we went to Austria and I had a baguette with ham and cheese for breakfast, and I had soda water with squash. That's a memory, and that was fucking really good. Sparkly blackcurrant juice.
Lemonade and orange squash is called a Henry.
Man, that's such a good drink.
That's a goated drink.
I've not had that.
You just ask for a Henry at the bar
Tonight,
Like, yes.
have you got any orange squash at home?
No.
Okay, Dan, I need you to go get some summer fruits.
Is it squash or is it juice? Is it
Squash.
orange juice? Isn't it at a pub? It'd be
Orange-
like
no.
Could be. On a Henry.
from concentrate. Yeah.
Could be. I would advise you getting squash on the way home tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Max, I'd advise you getting squash and lemonade on the way home tonight. Joss, I would advise you not to get any Red Bulls.
Thank you. I will take that advice. You know what is a go-to drink that I think gets looked down on, and I know that you like it, Ben? A shandy.
Oh
A
yeah.
beer with a
Shandy's
little
nice.
bit of lemon in it. Oh, that's very nice.
I thought you were going to say something rogue like Vimto. I was going to have to
Oh, no,
unfriend you.
Cow's
yeah,
milk.
I unfriend myself. Cow's milk.
Did you ever used to have that but at school? People would be like, oh no, I don't drink Ribena, I just drink Vimto. And you're like, what?
Grow up,
Yeah, grow up, mate.
you piece of shit. Sorry.
Do you know Vimto used to make drinks for the Nazis?
Exactly.
Really?
No, but
says
just
it
keep
all, mate.
saying it.
It just
Ribena-
makes sense.
Ribena's the goat. Ribena's the
Yeah.
Allies. Vimto's the
Ribena
Nazis.
carton.
Agreed.
Damn, that's some good stuff.
It's like Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Did you see that TikTok? Oh, it was like a year ago where this American, she's like, oh, I went to Walmart, whatever, and there was like an English section, and she bought Ribena, and she's like, oh, I can't wait to try this, and she pours Ribena into a glass and starts drinking it, doesn't
God.
water it down. And she goes, oh, wow, that's really nice. It's a bit strong, or whatever, and the comments are just filled with Brits like, are you fucking mental? She's drinking like pure concentrated squash.
Oh my
and they were like,
God.
you need to add water to it. So she does another video and she tastes it. She goes, oh yeah, that's much better. It's like,
That's like triple strength.
I remember watching it thinking, I was just cringing. Thinking, you ever tried squash without water before?
Yeah,
Mate,
yeah.
it's like ecstasy.
Yeah,
I was going to say, it must be like,
very much so.
yeah, just doing roids or something.
Yeah.
Whilst we're on the topic of like talking about squash and our childhood memories of drinks like that, are there any other kind of nostalgic objects or foods that you've eaten recently? So I went shopping last night and I came away with Sketty Oops.
Huh?
You remember them?
Spaghetti hoops.
Yeah.
Oh, spaghetti hoops. I thought you said skayoots. I was
I
like,
call it- I
what
call it-
the fuck is a skayoot?
Does anyone else just call it Sketty Oops though?
No, mate.
Sketty Oops.
No.
Spaghetti hoops.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. They were like 19p, a lot cheaper than baked beans. Spaghetti hoops. I've got spaghetti because you have beans or spaghetti to go with your other stuff on the plate. But you've got spaghetti on your plate.
Amber recently discovered one from her childhood, and that's canned spaghetti hoops with sausage in.
Oh, wow.
And she has that on toast.
Yeah, that's a good
I
idea.
didn't
sounds
do it.
banging.
I thought it was weird.
Lunchables are still the goat.
Oh,
They are the goat.
and snack attacks.
Yeah, yeah. Lunchables, snack attacks, Dairy Dunkers, whatever you like.
Rustlers.
I've never had a
Rushmere.
Russ's burger. Sorry, Joss.
What was I going to say? Not a childhood memory. Well, a meal that Charlotte and I had for dinner last night was sausage and mash with onion gravy.
Fuck.
Oh,
that's,
wow.
Oh my
that's
god!
Vegan
mate.
sausage.
Yeah. Vegan sausages from Aldi.
Can I ask why you didn't call it bangers and mash?
Sorry.
full.
Because
Come
that's
on,
from
mate.
up north, isn't it?
To
That was
Joss
a
in the
terrible-
edit.
What about-
Erase that.
What about Toad and Hole?
Oh, mate.
Classic.
You're a Toad and Hole fan, that you don't.
Mate,
Love
oh my
it.
god, yeah.
The
Anything with like mash or
Yorkshire.
gravy, yeah.
What,
It's the only dish I like wet.
what about shepherd's pie? You a shepherd's pie fan?
I do love. I fuck with shepherd's pie,
I
Really?
do not
Yes.
fuck with shepherd's pie.
mate.
I don't
My
trust
mum used
people
to
that like
make a
shepherd's
great
pie,
shepherd's
man.
pie. It's because she used to like mix up the mince and the peas with mint sauce.
Mate, I
Yeah.
need to take you guys to a memory right now. It was 2007. I just come back from year 9. It was raining. I forgot my PE kit that day, and I had to bring my food tech stuff home. Really shit day. Dark, wet. Get home, change into my normal clothes after school because Mum made us do that straight away. And I go downstairs, borderline depressed, and I say, "Mum, what's for dinner?" And she goes, "Oh, shepherd's pie tonight." In that one crystallizing moment, that's when depression starts. I think it's when you hear you're having shepherd's pie for dinner. Max.
I can second that. When
I
you
don't
come,
know how, if it's
right.
dark, like that's the perfect time to have shepherd's pies.
No.
When you get home, you had a bad day. It's dark.
No.
Shepherd's pie's a
let's end
weak
it.
That's
meal.
the thing that tips you over the edge.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you get
You
home,
are
you think,
wrong.
all I want is some fucking chicken nuggets and chips, just something easy, something that I know is going to be nice, and then you hit me with shepherd's pie, and it's like
Shepherd's pie, mate, is borderline
oh
child
my
abuse.
God,
I disagree massively.
Joss?
I never used to like it as a kid, but it's grown on me as I've grown up.
Fuck off. Mate. I have a memory actually, probably around the same age. It was peak summer, roasting hot. My dad never ever cooked at home because he was always away. And I got home once, peak heat, disgusting heat. Got home and he's made a cottage pie, something like a really warming winter dish, and we've got to eat that in the evening. And I'm a fucking chubby kid too, so I'd eat anything. But shepherd's pie on that day was not serving me.
That's how I feel
sorry,
about
cottage
shepherd's pie. Yeah.
I always used to get really annoyed because it was always like 400,000 degrees C. Like it would come out and it's the temperature of the actual sun, and then you're really hungry. You're already pissed off because you had a shit day. You're already pissed off because you got to have shepherd's pie, and now I can't even eat it because I got to wait 45 minutes for this to cool down.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this mash isn't too hot. Bang, mince. Literally
It's like
the temperature of the sun.
incinerates your tongue.
Yeah. What was the best meal to come back to, do you think? I think I know what it is before you guys even get there. I think it was fajita wraps.
Oh yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, but the thing is, I guess for you, how many wraps did you have? Because you had to split that across like a big family, though, right?
Yeah,
so your
Mum-
mum must have bought quite a few.
Yeah, she had links up with a farmer.
Yeah,
He made them
tortilla farmer.
Yeah.
Mr.
Well,
Tortilla.
Who grows the tortillas?
yeah, well, it comes from the massive tortilla tree.
That's pretty good because I used to go home and I had tortilla, I had a fajita night or whatever. But you can get like the box that it all comes like ready packed and stuff. It would just be my mum and I, and it would just be like you'd have 8 wraps in there, so it was like 4 wraps each. That was fucking brilliant.
Breaded chicken.
No, usually like just kind of chicken breast cut up into little cubes and whisked.
Mum used to do breaded chicken. It's fucking
Sounds
good.
good.
With
My
cheese.
mum used to do this it was like cheesy, mushroomy chicken with broccoli
Ooh.
in a
Oh.
wrap, and it was fucking banging.
Go up, mate. Broccoli does not belong in a wrap.
It was well
I
good.
don't know how we're talking about highlight
It
dishes
wasn't like
and
a
you've come
fat-
up with
No,
broccoli.
it wasn't like a fat piece of broccoli. It was like diced up. Like
Doesn't
small.
matter. You can't have
Mate,
that in a
I tell you
wrap.
what, and this was her. You know, like every parent's got their quick meal. It's just like, oh, I don't want to cook. Let's just have this. That was her quick meal.
Wow.
So there'd
That's
be times
so
where she's like, I
ready.
don't want to cook. I'm just going to make you the best thing. I'm like,
Jeez.
fuck yeah.
Mrs. Barham should make us the broccoli wraps then.
They're well good. Broccoli is a
day.
minor part of it. They're chicken wraps. They're chicken and mushroom wraps.
When my mum didn't want to cook, we'd ask what was for dinner, and she just used to say shit and sugar.
My dad used to say that, and my granddad.
And my mum still thinks it's funny today, even though it's literally the most rinsed joke since like this isn't a hotel. It's like, get over yourself, mum.
Mum,
Yeah.
your joke is rinsed.
Yeah. You heard it on Channel 4 in 1989, and now you still use it. It's like, come on.
You shouldn't be messing with Carol though, mate.
No, well, she doesn't listen, I hope.
No disrespect.
If you are listening, mum, this is purely fiction.
Yes. Joss, highlight meal. Your last meal. You
My mum's spag bowl all day, mate.
Yeah,
we used to have it
classic.
on a Thursday, and I could never wait until Thursday. It's such a good meal.
nice.
So good.
Well, again, whilst we're still on the topic of nostalgia, did you ever collect the Panini stickers? You know, the football, you know, those books that you used to get?
Panini stickers.
They're called Panini, right?
Are they?
I don't know.
Did you ever have
football
time.
stickers
Yeah,
that
the
came with
football
bubble
stickers.
gum?
Yeah,
Joss,
yeah.
we were a fetus when this was going on.
Why were they called Panini
mate,
stickers?
This thing started in like 1970. It's been going on every year
Yeah.
since.
I'm not that old.
But it shows that it's been around since you were a boy.
Yeah.
I wasn't a boy in 1970. I was a star in my parents' eyes.
Did you know of these?
Yeah.
You know of it?
The ones from bubble gum.
Yeah, yeah.
You should get them in packs of gum.
Yeah, I think so. And you can also just buy them off the shelf, kind of thing.
But why were they called Panini stickers? Did they come with Panini sometimes?
I don't know. Maybe like origination. They were like maybe you bought like a panini in a shop and it was like inside.
Inside the Panini?
Yeah,
That's fucking carnage.
yeah,
Bread and stickers.
yeah. So I was looking today about those. Well, I saw it in the news because so back in the day they used to be 5p each, but now it's 90p for a pack of stickers. And in total you need 670 stickers to fill the complete book out, which would cost £120.60 on stickers.
If you got it completely perfect.
If you literally bought that many packs and you got those stickers bang on, that's how much you would spend. But guess how much the average spend is? Or the probability. So based on the probability, it's more likely to set fans back how much
What?
to fill the book out,
To actually get it.
to get the full book.
$7,000.
No, not. It's not that much. Let's say that.
Oh, okay.
Nice, Joss. Coming way too high to ruin the whole thing.
£1
million pounds.
is it?
I've got to be honest, I was going to go higher.
Really?
Yeah. On 621 different people.
670 stickers to collect for this year's album, which, assuming were all bought on the first go, would cost £120. How much would it cost? The probability of actually completing it
Like
yourself?
800 quid.
£3,000.
£883.
Oh.
Can you imagine?
Mad.
Because
That is a lot of money to spend on stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but can you imagine how fucking good it would feel to put the last one in? and you finally get to close that book and put it in your sock drawer and think, another day is done today.
That's a win.
It must just be hell.
And then you go downstairs and your mum made shepherd pie. And it's all over.
And you fuck the whole book off because nothing matters anymore.
Oh, you could probably sell the book for even more than that, though, couldn't you? There'd be some guy out there who's like, "Oh, have you got the Ronaldo 61 glowy glitter gold?"
I think they do. I think they definitely do resell online. A bit like Pokemon cards, but
Yeah.
I guess way less rare.
It was all about match attacks when I was at school.
Yeah.
What's
me
Match
too.
Attack? Is that sticker book, right?
It wasn't like stickers,
That's
it was
like
just
cards.
Yeah.
Like football cards.
Okay.
And you get like an inform card as well, and
Oh.
like all like different shiny ones and everything. But then we moved from match attacks to like they had a Top Gear one. You had like all these different cars and stuff, and that was
Never
sick.
had that one. We
So
did.
good.
We had Go-Go's. Did you
What
ever
were
have
they?
them? Did you have them, Joss?
Were they just like little plastic
Yeah,
like,
they were-
toys?
Yeah, they're little plastic
Put-
toys.
What do you have to do with them?
I don't know.
Was there like a game that you were meant to play?
There
but
was
everyone
there
just
was a
collected them?
game, but everyone was just collecting them.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember them.
I
They
remember-
smelt really good.
I remember packing the rarest one because you know they had numbers on the back.
Yeah.
I remember I packed like the rarest one you could get in the first pack I ever opened, and I shit you not, it felt like I won the lottery.
I
Like, I walked into school the next day and I was the guy. Everyone's like, "How the fuck did you do that?" I'm like, "I'm just built different."
What's the luckiest thing that's ever happened to you?
Top of my head. No,
I remember on World of Warcraft there was this mount you could get from fishing, and on the game you have to press a button and you cast a line out, and then you wait a few seconds, and the bob will like go up and down. You right click on it and you get a fish.
Yeah.
And there was a specific thing in this zone where you had a 0.1% chance of getting this turtle mount, and this thing would only spawn like once a week. So the chances of getting it, the average player would take like 2.5 years to get it. I got it on my first cast.
Wow.
What?
What the fuck?
The probability was in the millions.
What did that mean you could do then? Was that like you could just be extra special in the game?
It was a cosmetic item, so basically my character could ride around on a turtle,
That's sick.
and it wasn't even fast, but it looked cool.
Wow.
Yeah,
I can't say I've ever been that lucky.
No.
yeah.
You've topped us there, man.
Yeah,
I'm really sorry.
I just didn't stop getting laid after that,
Yeah.
as you can imagine.
What was the reception of like you playing World of Warcraft at school like? With
The
girls?
reception?
Like, how did people?
Well, I don't think it really affected it.
No.
I had a girlfriend for 2 years,
Fair enough.
I guess.
You weren't really a gamer at school, were you?
No, never.
No. Joss, were you?
Into like GCSE age, I was.
I've never really been a gamer until
No.
now.
I think girls as well. They see like World of Warcraft. It's like someone playing Call of Duty. They didn't see the difference.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Whereas we think that's nerdier, the PC gaming side of things.
Do you not think back then though that there were kids. You've got the guys who are playing FIFA and stuff like that. Then you've got the guys who are playing WoW. They are two very different people, though.
Totally.
Right?
But I think
you didn't really fit into that kind of stereotype.
Only to boys, I think. I don't think.
They don't look at it.
Yeah,
like that.
I might have got called a neek by a guy, but I think girls just like, oh, he plays a game.
He just plays, whatever he does.
Literally,
His quests.
I think that's how they see it now.
Yeah, fair enough.
I hope. I'm speaking for the entire female race there.
Max, what was your first interaction with gaming, would you say?
Well, if we're going really far back, James Bond 007
GoldenEye
on no
PS1?
No, PS2.
Oh,
Everything or Nothing is the game.
That's how old you go.
PS2.
That's like new.
PS2.
Did you ever have a PS1? Like the grey one?
We didn't have a PS1. We went straight to PS2.
That's so
As in,
heavy.
I was alive when the PS1 came out, I think.
Was out, maybe.
How old are
Was
you?
out 24,
When were you born?
98.
He's a 90s baby.
February.
Anyway, but my dad would never let me play the shooting game. He said, "Oh, you can play James Bond, but only the driving missions. You can't play the shooting."
Really?
So I used to wait for him to go to work and then play the shooting missions because I was nails.
Does he know that now?
No.
Oh.
So, and then he had Call of Duty 2. So I played COD 2 and basically got addicted. And then I just became nice on the sticks at COD.
nice on the sticks.
What's the oldest console you had? I remember using. Because when you said Max is more like PlayStation 2, that's halfway through mine.
I have a Game Boy Color which is green. Which
Same.
I when it was over COVID found it and I literally turned it on and it still had battery and it had Star Wars. It had the Star Wars game in it. So I was like trawling about on that. But I think my earliest memory would be on a PC, the home PC, and it was Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah, mate, that was
fucking
a good
sick
game. Yeah.
I love those games. Where you get to
Yeah.
build like a world of roller coasting. It's awesome.
I think I was quite late to gaming, to be fair. Like, because I remember my dad. It's so sad to think back on because if this happened to me now, I'd probably cry. But I remember we were going on holiday, and I was really young, and we went to Toys R Us because he was like, "Oh, we'll get you a Game Boy for the plane," and obviously he didn't know how much Game Boys were. So we got to Toys R Us, and I'm fucking gassed. Like, I have levels of gas. We got to Toys R Us. I'm thinking, fuck yes, I'm getting a Game Boy. And he walks up to the stand. He's like, no, that's too much. I was like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Not for one plane ride. I was like, oh, okay. And we just walked out of the shop.
But you would have used it more than the plane,
Yeah,
right?
of course I would.
Not for one.
Why didn't you
After
pay
that,
that?
he throws it in the bin.
He was like, nah.
Don't even
And just
return
walked
home.
out. Yeah.
That's so dark.
I was really young, like
How vivid is that memory of interest? Vivid.
vivid. I remember walking out the shop thinking, fuck, I was so close.
Whenever Max is
So
offered
close.
anything now, he just seizes it instantly. He's just like, yes.
I remember going around my mate's houses and then being like, oh yeah, do you want to play Game Boy? I'm like, have you got a Game Boy?
I feel so bad for you. I can't want to go back in time and just give your dad the money.
Well, no, because I had I mean, it's fucking first world problems. We were going on holiday and he wanted to shut me up on the plane.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But yeah, and then we had a PS2 after that, like a couple of years later. But then I had a PS2 all the way up until Xbox 360. No, I did. Yeah, Xbox 360, and I used to do all the San Andreas cheats on PS2. I remember I convinced my mate to give me his old San Andreas without my parents knowing because they wouldn't go and buy it for me. So I like took the San Andreas disc and put it in like a FIFA case.
Nice.
And then was like, oh, my mate just gave me this football game. And they're like, oh, okay, don't care. Go fuck off.
And to Mr. Barham, if you hadn't done that, he wouldn't have been so secretive about his gaming exploits. Hey?
See, learn how to be techie.
Wow. That's good times.
I remember because I had two older brothers, one who was 4 years older, one who was 8 years older. So when I was 10, he was 18. So we had 18-year-old games in the house, but before I could even grow pubes, really. I was so young. And
I used to go around people like you's house.
Yeah.
And be like, oh my God, they've got GTA.
They've got everything.
Yeah.
And it was great because you obviously got exposed to all the games, but you never really experienced what you experienced where you felt you were shielded from it. I just got to experience it and thought that was the normal until I actually spoke to people at school about it. But then you also watch your brothers play like Silent Hill and Resident Evil when you're 12, and then you have nightmares for 2 weeks.
Are those games really scary?
Yeah.
Like, I guess to a child's mind. Yes.
Back in the day, Silent Hill was fucking petrifying.
Was it?
Yeah.
I can't play scary games.
To this day, I don't like watching footage of the game.
Really?
And it's like 15 years ago.
Wow. Is it as bad as the zombies in Call of Duty?
Yeah, way
mate.
worse.
Really?
Way worse.
Well, like ghosts and shit or not?
Just really, really fucked up Japanese storylines. about like hell coming to a random village, and you have to like walk through like abandoned hospitals and stuff where there's been like scenes of weird hellish torture and stuff. But it wasn't so much that, it was the reason Silent Hill became so popular and a cult classic is because of the camera angles. Like, you couldn't change the camera angle.
So you had to endure it.
You come into a hallway and like your view is like at the back of a hallway, and you're running towards it, so you can't see what's down there until you get down there, and all the doors and stuff are locked and dark and stuff. So like it's a game that really is very immersive, and then it gets to the point where you get onto like a boss fight or you're running away from a zombie, and it's just so difficult to run. It's like when you're running or trying to punch someone in a dream, you can't really, you're not very efficient. You know, you try and punch someone in a dream, you can't actually do it.
It's like soft.
It's like that, and it's really scary. And then
people enjoyed this.
Yeah, mate, Tim used to play it with the lights off.
Oh god.
And I had nothing better to do, so I'd watch it, and I remember thinking like, I can't even be in a room anymore. This is terrifying.
Mate, at uni, so during the start of lockdown, I was living with my friend, and he had Outlast.
Oh yeah.
And Outlast is basically this game, very, very similar kind of storyline. And yeah, you're like in an abandoned hospital, but all your view is through like a VHS camera in night vision, so it's all like green. And yeah, we played that with the lights off. And this was what, a year or two ago, and it shit me up, like properly shit me up. They're well scary.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Would you go to the moon, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think it'd be a bit scary?
Yes.
Hannah tells me about the dark side of the moon, and that's a bit weird, isn't it?
What did she tell you
No
about
one's ever been to the dark side of the moon.
Why not?
I think
What
China's
shit goes on over there?
China's taking photos of it, I think.
Have they?
Is it one side that's always dark?
Yeah.
Wow.
We only ever see the same side of the moon.
That's mad.
It is crazy. I only discovered that about a year ago. It's mind-blowing.
I didn't know that.
It was pretty mad when we were in Greece, just like you'd see the moon literally like so vividly because it was so dark out there and stuff. You see on the beach or whatever, and it was just like you could see the craters and all sorts. It's pretty mad. But you think you would go?
I don't think, if the opportunity presented itself, I don't think I'd regret not taking it for the rest of my life, I think.
Yeah.
Because how often, like, that's never going to happen to me.
Yeah, that's pretty mad. Did you hear recently about the satellite that hit that thingy, meteorite?
Comment, yeah.
That's pretty mad.
Yeah.
Like 15,000 miles an hour?
20,000 kilometers an hour, I think, yeah.
Crazy.
They want to see what would happen. Science experiment.
It was something like $3.something billion to do it.
It's a lot of money. I don't know if it was that much, but it's a lot of money.
What are they? So when they hit the thing, they were just looking at how that object then changes course.
They wanted to see if it would react the way they predicted it would react, so that they can do so in the future on larger scales.
Yeah.
Because there may be times when they have to send satellites to hit comets to stop it hitting Earth.
Wow.
That's the best way against comet protection. It's more efficient to knock it out of the way than it is to blow it up. They used to think sending nukes towards it would be the best thing to do, but that makes it worse because then instead of having one big comet, you got 50 asteroids. You know, which is worse because then like how the fuck do you deal with that? You can't just get a giant net out there, or can you, Max?
I think it's something that could be explored.
Do you know the satellite that hit that comet was 19 meters big, and the asteroid itself was 163 meters.
Wow.
The Eiffel Tower is 321, and it's actually bigger than the Eiffel. It's bigger than the Statue of Liberty. This asteroid thing. Crazy, isn't
That
it?
would have caused some damage.
Yeah. Little satellite. Do you know what his name was? Dart.
Dart.
Oh, that's nice.
Cute, isn't it?
Yeah. Like we've thrown a dart towards a rock.
Yeah.
Would you go to the moon, Dan?
Yeah. Do you think it's weird that, like, I know, we've been there and someone's been on the moon and stuff, but it's a bit like, it's a shame that we've not sent anyone else. I'd love to see, like, HD footage of someone now walking on the moon. Like, seeing, like, cars driving about, you know, those, like, space cars.
It's because the whole moon race was like a whole US versus Soviet Russia race to who could get on the moon first. And then once it was achieved, the whole lust and budget to get on the moon, it was only so the Americans could beat the Russians and the Russians could beat the Americans. And that's where the budget came from. It wasn't about getting on the moon. It was about beating the Russians.
There's nothing up there.
Yeah. And they're only now starting to think, actually, it makes so much sense to build a moon base and have a system where you can actually go to the moon, have a base there, and then send rockets from, because the moon's gravity is so much lower, it makes so much more sense to start rockets from the moon and then go to Mars. Because the gravity on Earth is so much stronger, so you have to use so much more propulsion to get out of orbit.
Yeah, shit.
Imagine how long it would take to build like a rocket facility on the moon.
Well, the tech they want to invent, they want to have stuff like in the next 100 years where they can build spinny slingshots from Earth that can fling rockets up without any propulsion. So it literally spins a rocket or a space shuttle so quickly, and then like if you have like a rope with a log at the end, and you spin it really quickly, and you let go, and it just flies, right?
Yeah.
It's like that, but they do it from the ground. So they spin it really quickly and let it go up 30 miles into the atmosphere.
That sounds so backward. That sounds like
Logically
medieval.
Logically impossible. Yeah, but it's completely doable. And then they also have ones that are crazier, things like space elevators, where they literally think they can build an elevator from ground to like 20 miles up. And then you can literally, up there, the air and the gravity is so much thinner that you literally can just
Float.
You can float up into the atmosphere and into space. But obviously that means, I think there's one in Star Trek, Joss, actually.
That is mad.
They land on one. Yeah, crazy. Imagine a space elevator. Imagine, I'll have floor 6092, please.
That's a minor thing that they land on in Star Trek.
Oh, is
the
it?
film.
Yeah, I'm not big into Star Trek. Amber likes it.
It's a great film. Josh, would you go to the moon?
Yeah, probably. Like Ben, I wouldn't want to turn down the opportunity. I'd only regret it. But not really much there, is there?
Be shit scared though.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely terrifying.
You know that feeling you get when you're on a roller coaster and you're climbing and you're about to go down, and it's like the nerves and the adrenaline building because you're about to go through a loop or it's about to go quick. Imagine that, but imagine being like sat backwards on a shuttle. You know how they sit like that, like ready to go up.
Yeah.
Imagine that, and then literally you have like 36,000 gallons of space fuel propulsion you up into the atmosphere. Yeah. Imagine the noise. Imagine the feeling of knowing you're literally about to be going like 26,000 miles an hour. Like unlike anything ever experienced by like a handful of people. Can you imagine how scary that must be?
I wonder what the 0 to 60 on those rockets are.
Slow as fuck.
Really?
Yeah, but once they get past like 1,000 miles an hour, they go to 2,000 really quick, then 3,000, because it's all like gradual.
Right.
But then once they get going, and then they get really going, and then they get into the atmosphere. I think to stay in orbit, something has to be going like 36,500 miles an hour, just so they don't fall back into Earth. But obviously there's no air, so maintaining that speed's easy.
That's mad.
Yeah.
It's just crazy.
Ice cream van.
Yeah.
Cool. Look at that. I get excited by both rockets and ice cream.
You do love it, don't you?
What?
I think we've just uncovered a new, well, not new, but you know this shit.
Space, yeah. It was one of my dream jobs when I was a kid, being an astrophysicist, but I wasn't smart enough.
Oh.
I find space very interesting.
What would you say is the craziest thing about space? Or like, is there any like things that you've heard since learning about it? It's been a bit scary or interesting? What's one thing that kind of interests you the most about space, do you think?
Probably the fact that when it ends, it's just nothing. So in like 60,000 billion years or whatever, when all the last stars have collapsed into themselves and evaporated and they don't exist anymore and there's no more matter in the universe, it's just blackness, infinite blackness. And that's what life will be one day for everyone. And how harrowing is that?
28 years ago, that was the same for you.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? And it's going to be the same in another 80.
Yeah, I know, but I guess what I'm trying to say is like, with the human race, you know, I'll die one day, but the human race will live on. It's forever existing.
The world will still be here.
But eventually, life itself will cease to exist because there's nothing more for it to exist on. Unless there's some way of like unlocking or traveling to different dimensions, which they think is a possibility, I suppose. But the scariest part is that it literally that life and existence has an expiry.
I think we should get out of this topic before we give our listeners an existential crisis.
Yeah. Dan's already getting there.
Yeah, like, it's a topic that when we speak about that, it's something that I never really think about that often, but other people that like I know do. But when I start to think about it, I start to go in a real fucking deep hole about it, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy.
Yeah.
See, when you think like that, like, I always think like, why don't you just fuck off home and play GTA? Everything's going to die. The world is going to end. Why don't we just go play GTA?
Exactly.
Play Xbox.
You might as well enjoy it.
You won't be, because life's about fulfillment, and you won't be fulfilled with that.
Have you played GTA?
Yeah, I it's a game that I could have weeks of fun on, but eventually it will become tiresome.
Yeah.
You know?
But the world's going to end.
Yeah, but not in my lifetime.
True.
What gives you fulfillment?
I don't know.
Shepherd's pie.
It's quite a shepherd's pie. Yeah. I don't know. That's a very good question, Dan. I think growth is probably the easiest answer. Personal growth, business growth, relationship growth, economic growth. Just being able to compare myself to who I was. I don't. They say compare yourself to who you were yesterday. It's too fucking marginal. Like comparing me to yesterday, I don't really know how I'm better. But comparing me to a year ago, sure, I can find things, right? And that's a lot easier.
A lot of people say compare yourself to or look at yourself 5 years ago, or your current now would never know what you were doing 5 years ago. It's someone quite like that or something. But that's pretty mad to think, isn't it? 5 years ago.
I was at Helmet 5 years ago, mate.
Same.
Such an idiot.
We were both helmets, mate.
So different.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's quite a long time ago.
Josh was born.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't.
Joss,
Yeah, mate.
you've said before about talking about Stoicism on the podcast.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what you think about that?
Where do you want me to start?
No, tell me.
Joss, discuss Stoicism.
Because I don't really, sorry, just to jump in.
No, please do.
I think I would prefer to hear your take on it because I don't fully understand Stoicism and your take. And I know you said you wanted to do a podcast about it previously, but I think if you was to kind of give us a summary as to what it is and how it is, maybe we can discuss that as a point.
Okay.
From your POV.
I guess the thing with Stoicism is I'm still very much learning a lot about it, but I just think it's very interesting and I think it's a very good practice to follow. Well, at least for me, anyway. And I feel like a lot of people probably can learn with it. But let me give you the Google definition because I don't actually know how you would define it. So it's a philosophy of life that maximizes positive emotions, reduces negative emotions, and helps individuals to hone their virtues of character. So all of us have listened to the Mo Gaudat podcast a lot, and I would say that he is somewhat stoic and into Stoicism, along with another guy that I've listened to and read about called Naval Ravikant, who is an angel investor and just a really interesting guy that everyone should check out. But I guess it's the practice of it's not to take away from what Ben just said, because I think that's perfectly valid, but it's not worrying about those things because it's out of my control. Anything that's out of my control, what is the point in worrying about it? What's going to happen is going to happen. I was listening to a podcast this morning and it puts it perfectly. It's like reality is neutral. Reality happens, events happen, and you can choose your emotions and how you react to those events. And how you react, in turn, will affect the future events. But if you react a certain way, then that will affect your emotions. So say something, I don't know, Ben says something horrible. I could either think, fucking hell, why has my boss just said that to me? Or I could just think, all right, he's just said that and move on. What's the point in being hung up about something? And I think that's something that's added a lot of value to my life, and it's within the last 6 months or so. And it's just like, it means that I don't hold on to things as much. And it's like, cool, whatever happens. It's out of my control. What is the point in spending all this time worrying about things? Because, like I said, reality is neutral, and it's up to my emotions how I'm going to react to a situation.
Nice. So it's a bit like PMA.
I was literally just going to say that.
You're
It's
quite
PMA.
stoic, Dan.
Would you say?
in a way,
Because
yes.
I didn't really
You're
know.
stoic without realizing.
Yeah.
It's literally PMA. In a very, 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 like, at its core, in a very base way, it's PMA.
Yeah.
You don't care about things you can't control, like energy bills going up.
Yeah.
We all talk and worry about that, but you couldn't give less of a shit because you can't control it.
Yeah. So it is a practice, or it's a mindset that people they will try to do more of or believe more in like that. So what's the opposite to Stoicism?
Me.
Is there a thing of
I assume it would be like pessimism.
Pessimistic and worrying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. And that's like the extreme difference to Stoicism.
Yeah.
Interesting.
There's nothing to gain with worrying because you don't change the outcome.
Yeah.
I'm reading Mo Gaudat's book at the minute, Solve for Happy, which is, again, a really good book that I recommend people should check out. And there's obviously people who are very chemically unhappy and people who are chemically depressed, and there's obviously a lot of other solutions out there for that. But I'm someone who isn't that, and I think there's a lot of events and things that can happen where you can get tangled up and you can get in your own mind. And I think the thing that he says in that book is like, just anything that's out of your control. Why are you wasting your energy? Why are you wasting your finite time on this planet, in this life, worrying about shit that you can't control? You're literally wasting your time. You're wasting your emotions. You're wasting your energy. You may as well be doing something else.
Like worrying about the mortgage interest rates.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
What can you do?
There's
You
nothing
can't
I can
control it. You literally can't. It's out of your power.
Do you think that's in your personality trait to overread? Not overread, but like, you know, you are someone who, like, you find a subject or a topic like that and you do research and you learn stuff about it. It's not like you don't just read headlines. You go deep into everything that's like that. So like, you know, COVID and mortgage increase and then bank rates and all these, you know, Bitcoin and all that. You never just read headline. You always go so deep into it. Do you see that as a kind of a good thing or a bad thing? Do you wish you had more balance, or like?
I wish I could do it with stuff I wasn't interested in. So stuff that I'm interested in, I'm very good at researching, but stuff that I'm not interested in, I can't do it at all. So the mortgage stuff, I looked into it because I found it interesting and it might affect me in terms of what I want to do. But I wouldn't say it worries me.
No.
And the Ukraine war, I've spent so much time researching that, not because it worries me, but it's because I find it so interesting about like military strategy and why people are doing the things they do and how Western leaders react to Eastern leaders and that sort of stuff. But I don't know. I can't remember the last time I read something I was genuinely worried. Maybe the day he invaded was quite scary, but that quickly dissipated, and now I'm just obsessed with Reddit and about getting like stories about what's happening there. But I think that's also an autistic trait, is picking up on subjects and then just becoming completely undividedly obsessed with them, rather than having like, I have tunnel vision and laser focus, but I don't have sporadic focus. I'd be really bad at looking after 4 kids, but I could look after 1 kid very well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Let's cap Amber where she is then.
Jesus.
Cap, like, you know, like stop, not.
Right, okay.
Not like that. What do you think about a cashless society?
Where are you getting these questions from, mate?
You are chucking these out. I love it.
Max?
I think it's really interesting.
Because I've got some advantages and disadvantages on my phone that I've taken from online, and I've listened to podcasts. But sorry, Max.
It would make no difference to me if it was a cashless society. Like, I don't think I'd carry cash in, like, other than that 50p that I gave just to screw something in earlier. Like, but I'm pretty sure I found that 50p. Like, I have not carried cash in so long, but I understand that it would impact probably a lot of like tradies and stuff like that. Like people's businesses would probably be impacted in some way or other.
Ben?
Needs to happen.
Nice.
It's a warranted necessity, because as soon as you do, you can track money everywhere, unless it goes through cryptocurrencies. I think we're already there. It's just at the back end, and I think they will eventually get rid of cash, and then that's when we start to see things like homeless people with Zettles.
It's already happening.
With
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Like card readers.
Wow.
You can tap for £2 to help the homeless.
Yeah.
I think cash is like you carry around a fob to get in, whereas I carry around a code in my head. That's the difference between cash and debit, is that you can literally just you can store information in a handset or your head rather than carrying a physical item.
There'd probably be far less like, not necessarily crime, but like muggings and stuff like that, like, because you can't steal. There'd be no cash to steal, and even if you took my phone, there's so much like two-factor authentication and all this stuff that you'd need to get into my banking. There'd be nothing to steal.
So one of the main disadvantages that were online was about exposing your personal information to a possible data breach. Because I guess once we go to a cashless society, everything will go online, which means that everything eventually will start to go online. Everything already is, but I guess you are more vulnerable to a data breach. It also means that possibly once you are online, if you're not credible to some banks, it also means that places can start rejecting you.
Yep.
Because you don't have money for, the availability to do that.
It works both ways though. Like if you're the sort of guy to keep cash under your mattress and your house burns down or you get mugged, you're susceptible to those things. You're always susceptible to risk.
Yeah. But
And
they
also-
do say reduce crime rates without tangible money to steal, I guess,
Yeah.
if you were going to
It just goes from mugging to hacking. That's all.
But also, all these problems that you're about to read, aren't they problems now?
So the disadvantages are, data breaches, no alternative source of money in the case of technical issues or hacker activity.
But
I guess that's insurance though, right?
But if your bank account gets hacked, the last thing you do is go to the bank to withdraw money. Surely. Because if my bank account got hacked, I'm not going to go to the bank and withdraw all of my money. I'm just going to ring up the bank and be like, what the fuck's going on? And they'll sort it.
But I guess they're saying if you were to get hacked, you had £500 in cash at home, you could still go out and buy stuff that you need to use
Oh, okay.
because you've got a backup.
Yeah.
Technological learning curve, I guess it's for a different generation, and lack of control over spending without a physical reminder.
I find it easier to... If I had £20 on an app in my online banking and £20 in cash, I can almost guarantee that I will blitz through that cash.
Yeah.
Like, I will spend cash so much faster because I can see a number on my online banking. I can see that number going down, whereas paper is just paper. So like, I think, oh, £5 for a coffee, that's nothing, there's a fiver.
Paper's paper, baby.
Yeah. Whereas on it's so weird how that works. Like, I look at my banking and be like, I can't spend £5 because then I'll have £15, and that number when I see it is way less.
Nice. All right. Thanks.
There we go.
Yeah, cheers guys. Thanks for that.
Also, money in a current account, UK current account, is insured up to 85 grand.
Is it
So
really?
if you have 85 grand in your current account and the fucking bank blows up or just gets destroyed somehow, you will be reimbursed for up to £85,000 per person. So
By who? By the bank.
There's an insurance company that's government backed, and every single bank and building society in the country is backed by that. And if it's a joint account, it's insured up to 170 grand.
How do you know this?
Because I used to work at Nationwide.
Oh, fair enough. Credible source.
So there you go. I mean, that's the other advantage to having money up to that number in a bank is you think anything can happen to that bank. The government can fuck the economy up, but that money is insured.
Or just buy appreciating assets like an Xbox.
Can't buy that with cash.
One thing I'd like to get your thoughts on
Go on.
that I see getting talked about more and more is universal basic income.
Ooh.
What are your thoughts on that? For anyone who doesn't know what that is, the definition here is a socio-political financial transfer policy proposal in which all citizens of a given population regularly receive a legally stipulated and equally set financial grant paid by the government without a means test.
Isn't that communism?
Like Cuba. Isn't Cuba like that? Is Cuba like that?
Don't know.
No.
That's what old Russia used to be.
Is it
Or
is it
Soviet.
communism?
I don't know. Well, what are people's thoughts on that?
Bad.
Why?
Because it doesn't reward hard work, and it's not... I think you should... Giving people money isn't necessarily the best idea. I think education is the way you should go.
100%.
So I think you're better off putting that money into education and social reform rather than just cash.
Yeah.
But, well, is it a cash injection? Say, is it an extra £200 a month on top of my salary, or is it we're all paid the same?
So what I've seen proposed by certain people in America and Canada is it's not even a small amount. It's something like 14 to sometimes up to 18 grand a year
Per
as-
person?
Yeah, as like a basic salary,
Holy
and then you work
shit.
on top of that. I can't remember where I was going with that, but yeah, it can start around there, and then it's as well as your normal job salary.
What's the purpose of them doing that? Why would a country want to do that?
I guess it's to
It's very liberal.
get people out of poverty, out of horrible situations.
But wouldn't everything else so like a packet of crisps, which was 60p today, if they give everyone 18k tomorrow, those
Yeah.
crisps are going to probably rise up to £1.20.
Exactly.
I guess people will still be able to afford the food and stuff, but everything that's
It'll all equal out, surely.
attainable items will become more expensive. Do you reckon?
I would think so. I think it's being discussed a lot more because of just inflation and the fact that so many countries are in the mud right now. But the trouble is, you then get into a territory where people can, you can vote someone in because they promise you more money. What's stopping a politician saying, "Oh, they're giving you 18, I'll give you 20." Well, I'm gonna vote for the guy who's gonna give me 20, obviously, because he's giving me more money a month.
But don't we do that now? Just with tax?
Yeah. We vote for the person that's going to benefit most.
We vote for people that are going to reduce our tax.
Yeah.
That's like a main thing.
It's going to affect the bottom line. I think the main problem really is that it's not so much that what we're doing now is like capitalism is bad or socialism is bad. Communism probably is bad, as it's been demonstrated a lot of times badly in the history. But I think capitalism, it's not so much we're going to a point now where it's like such insane capitalism that we would rather build a skyscraper than, you know, help orphans, because it leads to more profit, and that's the toxic side of capitalism. But I don't think, look at the government now, right? Like Liz Truss and the new Chancellor, they haven't got a fucking clue what they're doing, evidently, and it's because what's happened there is they're spending money the wrong way. If you had capitalism where all governments spent money exactly correct, we'd live in utopia, right?
Is it because their correct scale is way different to ours? Like our correct is...
I just don't think they know what they're doing. I don't think governments in a whole know what they're doing.
Mhm.
I don't think we know what we're doing when we come into work. We're just winging it really as best we can.
Yeah.
But I think they're winging it on such a large unknown scale that they're just fucking shit up constantly.
But I feel like everyone who comments on it, everyone feels like they have the solution. Like everyone online, you look on people that are bashing Liz Truss on Twitter and stuff like that, everyone thinks, oh, if they just did this, everything would be fine.
Yeah.
But
no one knows.
Yeah.
The only way I think we're ever going to get ourselves out of this like geopolitical hole where we have cycles of bad governments and cycles of good governments is when probably governments rely, or if not, are distinctly run by AI.
And that would be a logical state, and that would be bliss.
Because things would just be done correctly all the time, every time. And you know that when bad stuff happens, it's just, unfortunately, it's bad, and that's, you know, but we're going to get out. You know, like a recession could hit an AI-generated government, but they might be able to get out of it in 3 months. Or the recession probably wouldn't even hit because they'll just be able to predict things that humans can't. Like the problem is we're too dumb for our own good as a race. We don't know. We've built machines and processes and economies and governments that are just so complex that no one really understands how to work them anymore. And therefore we just, like, you think about life like that. It's so complex, like how, you know, you put interest rates up and then all the mortgages get fucked and no one has a mortgage anymore. Like there's just infinite knock-on effects to everything once you get to that level. So there's no real right answer.
So I was about to say, like, is there ever going to be a solution where everyone's happy?
Yeah, every time there's really bad, like now, it'll be like this for 2 years, and you have like 8 to 10 years of prosperity, but then it cycles. I don't think you'll ever get it.
No.
At least when there's human run, where everything's fine all the time consistently.
There's always going to be ups and downs.
But look at war though. I mean, the West hasn't had like a major war for like 75 years. Us and our parents have only ever known peace. We've only ever known peace and like not being drafted and like just going about our days. Whereas now there's war in Europe, right? And for the first time in however long, we're now thinking, fucking hell, this, like, if it escalated really, 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 really far, we could be drafted up into the army. And that's a thought that we've never had to experience before, and our parents haven't had to think about before. And that's something that's like, fuck, you know, we're not bred to be ready for war.
Isn't that mad?
Scary.
We're very lucky that we've never even had
So
to
lucky.
think about that. Like our probably grandparents, great grandparents, and their parents and parents and parents before them have always had to prepare, or they've had people in their family who have always been in the army because of X thing. And now we've had this pretty healthy, you know, like you said, 70, 80 years in the Western world anyway.
Yeah, no war.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
To answer your question, Joss, I would take an extra £200 a month from the government.
Yeah, but that's probably going to mean your tax is higher, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because who's going to pay for that? There's no
Exactly.
money tree, Dan. Is there?
Yeah,
Just print more.
Bank of England or something like that, probably.
Just print more money. It's fine.
Let's
Make more of it. And for those of people in the comments who are about to go raging, don't worry, that was a joke.
We are a non-political agency.
I know that printing money doesn't work
Yes.
because I've Googled it.
But
many
America
times.
doesn't know that. Stella's by my feet, by the way.
Hello,
She
Stella.
keeps licking me.
Licking your feet. Gross.
Yeah, stinky.
So yeah, to answer your question, Josh, I don't think that's a good idea, but I don't really know enough to even comment on it. It doesn't sound like a good idea though.
Yeah. I just want to get your views because I keep seeing it discussed, and I'm like, where is the positive in this?
If it leads to equal opportunity, equal outcome of opportunity, I think it works.
But it doesn't, does it?
Not necessarily. I don't think it really changes anything. It just it level. The thing is, it raises the playing field, but for everyone.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
it doesn't really do anything.
So it doesn't change a thing.
If anything, it just ostracizes you from other countries because the inflation on your country will be different to others, like Norway, and now we can't go on holiday to Norway because we don't want to pay £12 for a pint. Whereas people in Norway are on like 100 grand, and that's normal for them. And they come over to England. It's like, well, you can get a pint of lager for £4. I don't know why they're from the southwest of America. You can get a pint of lager for £4, and it's just like, I don't know, mate. I like to think I know what I'm talking about, but I don't at all. I just watch YouTube videos.
Dan, what do you think?
Economics, mate. It's not my forte.
Just PMA.
Yeah, just sounds all right, but in the money in the hands of the wrong person could be pretty bad. More guns, more crime.
Guns. Think about all the money that you could spend on
Stuff. Yeah.
Do you think when we're older there'll be a PM that's obviously when we get into our 30s, maybe even our 40s, there'll be a PM who's like our age, and there'll be a lot of you relate to them more because you grew up with someone like that at school, or there's things they're interested in that you're interested in, right? Like my dad really likes Boris Johnson, and I can't for the hell of me think why. It must be the fact that he reminds my dad of himself or his friends or something like that, because they're of a very similar age. And I think that's the only reason I can think why my dad would like him at this point. But when we're in our 30s or 40s, there might be someone that's like, oh, okay, yeah, they're quite relatable. They went to fucking, I know there's some rich bastard or whatever, but they're my age.
I don't think so, because I've seen clips of like young Tory party members that are like in their early 20s, and I just like they just talking. I'm just like, shut up, you sound like a bellend. Like, yes, you're the same age as me, but I still hate you because that's not right. I don't hate them.
That's fantastic.
I still think that like I still don't. If you were in power, I wouldn't be like, oh, I really like you because you're also 35. I'd think you're a bellend.
The idea, okay, let me phrase it this way then. What if there was a potential to have a 25-year-old prime minister right now? Does that not automatically get your liking just the idea of it? It does for me.
I understand what you mean.
Because they're going to be more focused on probably the issues that I care about rather than
hopefully
social care.
Hopefully,
yeah.
But if they're
there's
also
a higher chance at least.
If they're like a diehard, Liz Truss fan, and they've grown up like supporting the same views, and it was basically Liz Truss, but they were 25, then no.
Liz Truss too.
Yeah. But I understand what you mean, and if it was what you mean, then hell yeah, that'd be sick. But I'd also be on the other side, be like, well, also they're very young, and I'd be interested to see how well they do the job, considering they haven't been in the industry for very long.
I think a young PM could do really well.
Really?
Yeah, the PM in New Zealand, Josh, she's like late 30s, isn't she?
I believe so, mid to late 30s, yeah.
She seems very good.
Mm.
Although I'm sure the news I see about her is very much digested to someone my age to like her anyway. We don't really know what's going on with anyone.
I just feel like early 20s, like you just like...
Well, let's say late 20s then, early 40s. Let's just say 32.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Cool. How old's Liz Truss, Josh?
Stand by. I will Google. By the way, the New Zealand PM is 42.
Cool.
Liz Truss is...
She looks so awkward.
She's
on
47.
stage.
How old's Boris Johnson?
He is...
Isn't he like
a
lot older
about
than...
57, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's just loading. Dun, 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 dun.
Do you remember that dance that Prime Minister did on stage?
Theresa May.
Theresa May.
Boris is 58.
How old's Theresa May?
Fucking hell. She is 65.
I've rested my case.
Yeah.
Not sure what case it is, but I've rested it. There, on the floor.
We all get older. That's the case.
Do we?
That's
Yeah.
the case.
It
It would be nice to see a young PM. I agree.
You do know that in our lifetime they might be able to fully reverse the aging of DNA and therefore stop the aging process. They've done it in mice and extended the life expectancy of mice by 30%. In some cases, they have even made older mice younger, and they've even made young mice stop aging.
When you say stop the
Wow.
aging process, what does that mean?
The reason you age is because throughout time your DNA will make a clone of itself, and that new clone will become your new DNA, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this happens constantly forever until you die. But as you get older, when your cells regenerate, they don't regenerate as strong as they were before. So what your cells now are like, I don't know, 100%. And when you're 32, they're 98%. But they can't regain the cells they've lost. So they only ever get worse. And that's the aging process. But they think what they can do is they can actually make DNA not falter. So it stops copying itself at a lower percentage or a lower health. So you can keep your DNA at 100 forever.
Wow.
And at that point, you don't get all problems linked to people being old age. You don't get anymore. Your skin stays the same. Your bones and muscles stay strong. There is none of that. You don't age. You just stay the same, a consistent point.
I don't like that idea.
But then
It's hard to believe that.
It is, but it's completely bonkers to believe. But also, scientifically, if they can figure that out, then why not? We are just programs, aren't we?
It's mad that
But
cells
imagine
are just-
living forever, like forever.
It doesn't necessarily say you're going to live forever, but they said they can increase mortality, but to like over 200 years.
Do you think that's a good thing?
Yeah, probably.
Well, so you'd
Not more
you'd
more
live
people
for
on
200
Earth.
years.
Surely more people.
Not
living on
necessarily
Earth.
more people on Earth, but people who are on Earth live longer. But if we're going to become a
That means there's more people on Earth, though, really.
Mm.
not
Because
if you,
people should be dying off at 90, but instead they're dying off at.
but they might just do birth years. So every decade, everyone can have one baby, and there's no babies in between that, and everyone takes pills like dystopian, like the shit like that could happen.
the UN have also predicted that when we hit the human population is going to plateau at 10 billion.
Yeah,
We're going to hit 8 billion this year, and then when we reach 10 billion, it's going to plateau.
How will it plateau?
people are having less kids now.
We're having a
than they used
lot
to.
less kids.
Through choice.
Yeah,
And I've seen a lot
Yeah.
of people say a lot about predominantly Elon, I guess, in like the public eye. He's very concerned about underpopulation because I guess our generation are having a lot less kids than our parents' generation. And then the effect of that then has on a capitalist world and the amount of jobs that there are that people need to fill that aren't going to be filled is going to have a massive knock-on effect. So say. But
how many kids do you want, Dan? Or if you could choose the perfect, like, what would be perfect for you
One.
and Hannah? One.
Maybe. Yeah.
Max? When you're ready, not now.
Yeah, like 1 or 2. Absolute maximum 2.
Joss?
14.
What?
No, 2.
2. I want 2. I completely want 2. I'd almost want 1, but then I'd feel bad about it not having siblings. I think siblings are cool. Unless you didn't have any, you don't know any better, like you, Dan. Because you're quite stoic, you see.
Thank you.
I think 2, and the idea of 3 to me sounds awful.
Yeah, me too.
To anyone listening out there, three kids or more, I don't mean that to be offensive. I am a family of 6. I've got 3 siblings. I just think it's carnage. And I don't want that kind of carnage for that long.
I don't know what I would be like with three kids. I mean, I'm sure if you actually have 3 kids, you make it work, don't you? I think personally, I feel like 2 is a good spot.
This is also coming from 4 blokes who don't have any kids.
Yeah, and I'm 24. I haven't got a fucking clue. Like, but
I might have the thing is, I might have my first one and think, actually, you know what? I'd love a little army of these. Just give me 14, and I'll take over Germany.
Josh, you'll be well jealous.
That's what you really need,
Yeah,
though. You need
14
3
minions.
hardcore motherfuckers just to take over a country. They say.
Also, the fact that there's a way higher chance of them doing something really successful, and also a way higher chance of them doing something really fucking bad.
What?
If there's 14 of them.
Logically,
kids.
it's a business move.
So you're just rolling the dice on your kids.
Yeah, like one could become the ultimate athlete, or one could become Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffney Draymond.
Yeah.
How would you react if your kid that you loved and raised and gave all your attention to turned out to be a prolific, if not one of the world's worst serial killers?
How would I feel?
What do you do?
Disconnect, chop him off, bang, done. You're out of the family. Sorry.
Don't know. I've never had a kid, so can't give you an answer.
Take him off the Christmas card list.
Okay, here, let me rephrase it.
Go on.
Exact same question, but it's your dad, and it just came out on the news. Your dad's a prolific serial killer, and then all these memories of your dad, you suddenly connect loads of dots. And you think, oh my god, actually,
Wow,
there
yeah.
was all these signs. They were there.
Like when we used to go swimming, like he was killing people in the changing rooms.
Was he?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, that's
Where is
a
this
fucking big
where's-
dot for you to
where's
connect,
this
Dan.
going? What?
But do you know what I mean? Like, what would you do?
Just couldn't tell you, mate.
PMA.
Yeah.
Oh, is that my control?
I don't know.
Joss?
you know,
that's pretty horrible to think about. Isn't
yeah,
it?
logically, be like, oh, I'm going to cut him off and never see him again, kind of
Yeah.
thing. But there's obviously in that moment, it's like you need to have some sort of reasoning and think, oh, he's my dad. I need to listen to him first and see what he's done and see what his point of view is on it all. Obviously, he's done fucking bad if there's evidence and all this stuff. But
There you go. That's a good answer.
yeah,
Not just, I don't fucking know. That
Yeah.
sounds logical.
Yeah.
Would you still love your dad?
I don't know if I'd still love my dad.
Could you stop loving your dad if, depending on how bad the crime was? Do you reckon you could stop loving someone because of that?
I don't know if you can stop loving anything.
Of course you can.
I could.
Yeah, definitely.
I
Just
reckon-
that level just drops to zero.
I've stopped loving you so many times, mate, but then you do something and I fall right back in again.
Exactly.
But there are times when it stops.
Do you
Completely. It's like a black null void.
I have like a switch. I'm actually very good at it.
That's
It's very bad.
that's autistic.
Is it?
Yeah, I have the same thing.
Like I can just so easy just be like, bang,
Bang.
You're
Cut
out.
off. Yeah.
sorry. I've done it many times.
Wow.
Yeah, a bit cutthroat like that. That's why I got no friends.
Yeah, makes sense.
You've got loads of friends, mate.
Thanks. Bang.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Thanks.
Joss?
I mean, I'd like to think that I'd be able to cut them out. If it's a parent, I reckon you can still love them, but you wouldn't want to talk to them ever again.
My mum used to say, I love you, but I don't like you.
I love that about your mum.
And I think, that's fair enough.
Did she actually say, I love you, but I don't like you?
Yeah. No, she didn't really. But I've heard that. She might have jokingly said it.
Am I having deja vu? Have you told me that before and then said I'm joking? On this podcast?
Maybe.
Because my mum used to say, do you know what my mum used to say to me?
Dinner is shit and sugar.
No.
She said,
Yeah,
Ben, got that fucking
Shepherd's pie for tea tonight.
She said, you're a good show, but you're on too long.
Too long, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
heard that.
That's funny.
This time last week.
I'm funny, but it's too much.
Yeah.
I like that phrase, to be fair.
Yeah.
I'll say that to my kid, I reckon.
Really glad that you and my mum are finding common ground, Max. Finally. You would have liked my mum.
Really?
You good at table tennis?
Yeah?
How do you reckon Max would have handled my dad?
Easy, mate. Your dad was actually quite easy to beat.
Beat at what?
Table tennis.
He just demolished you.
He didn't.
You only beat him when he was with Joss.
That's because I let down the team.
Still beat him. It's on my record.
I feel like you and I are quite similar, so I feel like your parents would know very quickly how, like, they'd be like, oh, I've experienced this before. This is fine.
We're very similar, but equally, I think you have a filter and you have limits to what you say.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
would want to hear. Whereas my family, Dan, we just make jokes about anything, and we
Yeah.
will talk about anything. There is no limit.
No,
There really is no limit.
Yeah, maybe.
The gloves are off.
Can you
24/7.
imagine going home to your mum and dad and having to talk about incest?
Yeah, no.
There you go.
in front of your sister's brand new boyfriend.
Yeah, no.
On Christmas Day
That wouldn't happen.
At
Not
a
a chance.
campsite in the middle of nowhere.
in Devon.
Oh, God.
Great story. But that's for another time.
That's not for a podcast.
That's
but that's a fantastic headline.
that's for another podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And on that bombshell, thank you for listening, Ben. Thanks for being a part of this today.
Thank you for the awesome questions, mate.
Thank you for the awesome
Yeah, thank
feedback.
you.
You've been a great host, and I wish that you were more like this on other days.
Can we, in the next episode, can I sit there? Because I feel like that is a very hosty chair, and I'm fed up with you being the host all the time.
I enjoy
I
being
feel
the
bad.
host. I like trying to link one question into the next.
Maybe other people like being hosts.
But if you want to be a host, yeah,
Backtrack
absolutely.
straight away.
Like Ben's mum used to say, "You're a good laugh, but you're on too long."
I don't love you, Max, and I don't like you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. All the details are below. Follow MH Barham, B JPEG Ben Lortz.
No. Make sure you follow MH Barham, Loose Shoulder, BNJ Lawton, and Joss Henderson on Xbox Live Gamertag. We'll be on GTA 5 tonight from 8 PM. If anyone wants to hit a lobby, do a few heists, and fuck some cars up.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Thanks.